goodness. Here we go, guys. Welcome to today's lunch live stream, where I think I might have left this thing out to thaw a little bit too long, but that's alright. A little behind the scenes scoop. Anytime you see competitive eaters or any of those food challenges that you see on YouTube, the food has either gone usually a little bit too cold or a little bit too warm, but that's alright. So today we are here for episode 99 of the lunch live stream series that I've been doing all summer and a little bit of last spring as well. And today I'm eating some Biscoff ice cream. Biscoff, delicious cookies that you can usually get whenever you're flying on any of European airlines, or if you get the Biscoff cookie spread, some of the best stuff in the friggin' world, way better than Nutella. And now they make an ice cream. And it is exactly as delicious as you'd expect it to be. If you know Biscoff, you know this stuff is going to be good. It's this kind of like buttery, gingery, slightly spicy cookie. It's really, really wonderful. So just a Biscoff cookie ice cream. Oh my God, you can hardly go wrong with that. Well, guys, today it is September 11th, 2020. And for those who have not been, part of this whole journey that I've been doing lately, what is it, about 6 months ago, the entire world basically shut down because of COVID-19, and the whole pandemic has just been a real drag. But, I haven't been able to get out, do a lot of traveling. There have been basically no eating contests since last February. There's been, 2 in the last 6 months. There's another one on the horizon with Major League Eating, I should say. So restaurants have been shutting down. It's been really tough to get out and do all the kinds of like eating challenges and eating contests that I really like to do. So instead, I've been doing these weekly lunch live streams where I pop online, do a live stream, hang out with you guys, eat some ridiculous food, some ridiculously delicious food, and talk about whatever topic comes to mind. So today, I thought it'd be cool to take a look at like what's going on in the future. Maybe I can talk with you guys, answer some questions about anything that you guys are curious about what the future holds for me or the future holds for whatever's going on, basically. Because I do feel like not only are the seasons turning, but I feel like this is a little bit of, a turning point in my own life where I'll be going back to classes pretty soon, so my schedule is going to get even more full than it currently is. It's just ridiculous stuff going on. And we have seen a couple of Major League Eating contests pop up on the calendars in the month of September. We already had one. There's another one over the horizon. I did not participate in the slobber eating contest earlier this month, and I have no intention of doing the tamale eating contest at the end of this month either, just because I don't think that it's really worth my time. I could show up, I could kind of put on a mediocre performance, but I just don't feel like, I'd be able to do my best, and basically I don't think I'd be able to do it justice. So I'm probably not going to be doing that contest, but we'll see what the future holds. I'm not done with Major League Eating by any stretch of the imagination. Hopefully, in the coming months, things will go back to a little bit more normal, and we'll be able to do contests and food challenges, stuff like that, a little bit more regularly. As there are still plenty of, restaurant challenges that are even just around the Seattle area that I haven't done, that I'd be interested in doing. Oh my goodness. On top of everything else, oh my gosh, this Biscoff ice cream, so friggin' good. I'm going to devour this entire thing. I'm going to say it right now, I'm probably going to do a Biscoff ice cream challenge as soon as these things go on sale. Yeah, 200 calories per half cup serving with 12 grams of fat and 20 grams of carbs. Oh my goodness. It's going to be good when those are the kinds of nutritional stats you got. AJ, thank you for joining the live stream, man. Says, hey Steve, how you doing? I see tons of tasty food in your future. Heck yeah, man. There's going to be so much tasty food. I don't know what it's going to be, but I can tell you, you are absolutely correct. Never going to stop eating that tasty food. All right, one thing. Now, of course, the entire reason, I shouldn't say the entire reason, but one of the motivating things for doing these lunchtime live streams was, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic. So I've been doing a little bit of research on what exactly the future of that looks like, and there's been a lot of interesting developments lately. There's been a lot of talk about COVID-19 vaccines. I did talk a little bit about vaccines on a previous live stream, which, yeah, it was kind of silly how some of the responses that I got on that. Some adamant, anti-vaxxers. It's ridiculous. No comment. Anyway, so the COVID-19 vaccines are in development. I think that, our current our current president wants a COVID-19 vaccine as soon as possible. Any potential future presidents wants a COVID-19 vaccine to be thoroughly tested for at least 3 months. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, so they can say that the vaccine came out under their administration. I think there's a whole lot of politics on this, which I think is really super unfortunate. But it is interesting, just strictly from a medical and scientific development standpoint, that you can see that there are 145 vaccines specifically for COVID-19 that are in preclinical trials right now, and several that are in different phases of trials. And I got a little bit curious about what exactly those different phases mean. By the way, anybody who looks at these numbers and compares them to annual flu, it's no comparison. If everybody was practicing the kinds of social distancing and the kinds of always washing their hands and always sanitizing, taking all these extra steps, the flu would be extinct in 2 years if people did this. So these numbers just do not compare. But anyway, back to clinical trials for vaccines. As you can see, we've got 22 vaccines in phase 1 trials, 13 in phase 2, and 9 in phase 3 clinical trials. And I found this website, which does a pretty good job of talking about what exactly that means. This is www.healthline.com/health/clinical trial phases. Says, what are clinical trials? So clinical trials, basically, they're just obviously you can't just develop a drug or vaccine or something like that and just immediately put it out to market. That would be irresponsible. As much as I think a lot of drug companies would like to do that, you can't do that. Basically, if you do that, you're not selling drugs, you're not selling medicine, you're selling supplements. You're selling homeopathic remedies that you just kind of cross your fingers and hope will work. Hope will make you feel better, regardless of whether or not they actually do anything to, improve your health or improve your well-being. Anyway, clinical trials. So what is this? Like I said, just anytime a drug or a vaccine is brought forth, and before they get certified by the Food and Drug Administration, before they can actually be given to people, they do have to go through several trials, or several phases of trials, of increasing, increasing scrutiny, I guess would be the right way to put it. So first it starts out with the preclinical stuff, where this might also be called the phase 0 of a clinical trial. It's done with very few people, usually 15. Investigators use a very small dose of medication to make sure it isn't harmful to humans before they start using it in higher doses for later phases. This medication acts differently than expected. The investigators will likely do some additional preclinical research before deciding whether to continue with the trial. So in phase 1, the effects, they look at the effects of the medication on about 20 to 80 people who have no underlying health conditions. This phase aims to figure out the highest dose a human can take without negative side effects. And I think that's really interesting because, like, if you look at it, if you think about it, everything has a negative side effect if you take it in a high enough dose. So regardless of how like healthy you think anything is, there is a toxicity to it. You know, you can have water poisoning, you can have oxygen poisoning. If you take too much vitamin C, it can cause negative health effects, um, usually by digestive effects. A lot of like vitamins and minerals, if you eat, if you consume too much of them, your body will draw in a lot of water into your intestines to try to flush it out, and that basically it causes you to go to the bathroom. With highly energetic expulsions in the bathroom, I guess. I'll try not to paint too vivid of a picture for anybody who doesn't want to talk about that stuff, because it's kind of gross. So anyway, back to trial phases. Pardon me. Let's see. While preclinical research usually provides some general information about dosing, the effects of medication on the human body can be unpredictable. In addition to evaluating safety, ideal dosages, investigators also look at the best way to administer the drug, such as orally, intravenously, or topically. According to the FDA, approximately 70% of medications move to phase 2. So what happens in phase 2? Basically, they bring in more people. Let's see, they're usually given the same dose as was found safe to be in the previous phase. Investigators monitor participants for several months or years to see if how effective the medication is. Oh, I see. Phase 2 is administering it to people with the condition that they're trying to treat. So I think that's the primary difference between phase 1 and phase 2. Now, it is really interesting that typically this goes on for months or years, which hopefully we don't have to wait years for COVID-19 vaccine, because I really don't want to be stuck at home working outside of an office, working away from my coworkers, not able to meet up with groups of folks for a couple of years. Oh gosh, that would be awful. So although this is a phase 2, usually has more participants, it is not large enough to demonstrate the overall safety of medication. However, the data collected during this phase helps investigators come up with methods for conducting phase 3. And about 1/3 of medication makes it to phase 3. So what happens in phase 3? So you get thousands of people, so hopefully you're not falling into the trap of just having such a small sample group that all you have are outliers and you don't have any actual data. With thousands of people, and trials in this phase can last for several years. They don't even talk about months. So I think the COVID-19 vaccine, they're kind of like fast-tracking it and doing as much data gathering as they can. So I mean, that's potentially dangerous, but like I said, the choices are, you either fast-track something and you risk giving people a vaccine that has unintended long-term consequences, or you do your due diligence, do all the proper testing, but you have to wait many, many years before something can pass this phase 3. So it's kind of like, it's kind of like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. I don't think there is a really great way to do that in this, with this situation that we're in. Let's see, I think the most interesting difference between phase 2 and 3, aside from the fact that they just ramp up the participants by 2 orders of magnitude, is that phase 3 trials are usually double-blind, which means that some participants receive a placebo, some participants receive the actual treatment, and neither the participants nor the people administering the test know who is who during the administration. They're just kind of like, they have group A and B. That's basically to make sure that nobody's cheating, So you can't be influenced by placebo effects, basically. So if somebody knows that they're getting the treatment, then they can't. Or if they know that they aren't getting the treatment, then there's nothing psychological going on that might have some kind of other effect. It's very strange how that can work, but double-blind, it's usually considered to be like the gold standard for clinical trials. Let's see, the FDA usually requires a phase 3 clinical trial before approving new medication due to the larger number of participants and the longer duration of phase 3. Rare and long-term side effects are more likely to show up during this phase. Pardon me. And then phase 4 is basically like you don't need to pass phase 4 to administer some kind of medication or start marketing some kind of medication, but it's basically like ongoing research to make sure that it's still safe, stuff like that. So it is interesting to know that there is COVID-19 vaccines. There are COVID-19 vaccines, in fact, if I can speak proper English, that are going through clinical trials right now. So I'm hopeful that in the next 6 months or so, something will pop up. And some company. I am actually really like. How should I say? Like, I'm a little bit surprised that there are a lot of companies that have stepped up. I think Johnson & Johnson is one such company that has stepped up and said that they are trying to. They're working to create a vaccine with no plans of like actually selling it and profiting off of it. I think it's just mainly to improve their image, and because they have the the financial power and the like infrastructure to be able to mass produce some kind of vaccine that would be helpful to people. So it is cool to see that there are some corporations in America and worldwide corporations that are basically footing the bill to do a lot of footwork and a lot of work to create a vaccine for this thing. Now the cool thing about most of the vaccines that are in development right now for COVID-19 is that they're a little bit different than previous vaccines. Like I said, I did a live stream talking about previous vaccines and the way that they work. And the COVID-19 vaccine, or the vaccines that are showing the most promise right now, work through a different mechanism. Like they're a completely novel type of vaccine. They're called an mRNA vaccine, which is called a messenger RNA vaccine. And my father actually told me about this just last weekend when I was hanging out with him. My father, I always, every now and then I'll say like little asterisk, I am not a doctor. If I say anything that sounds like medical advice or sounds like I'm trying to give people advice, you have to take it with a little grain of salt and, take it to somebody who like actually is a doctor. But it turns out that my father is a medical doctor, so I kind of trust him when he talks about this kind of stuff. So he was telling me about mRNA this weekend and how some of the vaccines, I should say the vaccines that are showing the most promise for COVID-19 are all this new kind of mRNA vaccine. Now, I read some of this Wikipedia article about messenger RNA, which is what mRNA stands for, and it was friggin' Greek to me. Like, it is so complicated. Like, this is not something that I know much of anything about. I think most people have this kind of like idea of what RNA and what DNA are. But messenger RNA is not something that I'm really familiar with. I don't know a whole lot about it. Starting from the top, it says, in molecular biology, mRNA is a single-stranded molecule of RNA that corresponds to a genetic sequence of a gene and is read by ribosome in the process of synthesizing a protein. And beyond that, like, I didn't understand the rest of this article. Like, I kind of get that messenger RNA is a genetic sequence that is specifically meant to be read to produce something, right? So I think that that's basically what it is. And an mRNA vaccine is kind of like injecting this sequence into your body, into your cells, to provoke it to create the correct types of antibodies, specifically to fight coronavirus. And it is showing, a lot of good results. People are seeing, some of the clinical studies are showing that people who use these mRNA vaccines, their bodies are creating the correct antibodies to fight off coronavirus. So it is really interesting to see that this stuff is, it's working. Like, I'd love to see how this stuff works in the future. And there's a couple of white papers out on like PubMed and NCBI about the novel types of mRNA vaccines and the development of it and things along those lines. So lots of interesting stuff out there, but like I'm not going to dig too deep into it because it's a giant topic, and I honestly just don't know that much about it. You know, it's like I try to stick to the things that I understand well enough that I can speak to and explain in a way that's really digestible, and it's not something that I really understand well enough to articulate in a way that's digestible. I would just be parroting things that I've read before, which is not, yeah, I mean, that's kind of lame. Like, I could do it, but yeah, I don't want to. But anyway, this you can find more information about mRNA vaccines online if that's something that you're interested in checking out. But let's see, vaccines for mRNA. This is just an MSN.com article. Vaccines using mRNA, or messenger ribonucleic acid, are on the rise to fight against the coronavirus pandemic. This technology has yielded encouraging results, but a successful mRNA vaccine has never been created before, which presents new risks. Below are facts about mRNA vaccines, of which several are currently being developed to fight coronavirus. So mRNA stands for messenger ribonucleic acid, which is a molecule that carries codes for DNA to make proteins. An mRNA vaccine encodes proteins of a virus, which it inserts into a cell to trigger an immune response and create antibodies. There have been several successful mRNA vaccines before, but studies show they can elicit immunity. Oh, there's never been a successful mRNA vaccine before. I was going to say, did I misread that? Okay, there has never been a successful mRNA vaccine before, but studies show they can elicit immunity responses against flu, Zika, rabies, and coronavirus. mRNA vaccines are non-infectious and cannot be produced, and could be produced quickly at large scale. mRNA vaccines are considered risky because the technology is still new. Many other vaccines, such as flu vaccines, are egg-based, cell-based, or synthetic. So cool. Got lots of cool stuff going on. So yeah, I really hope that the world opens up sometime in the next 6 months and we can all get on planes and travel across oceans. Hopefully I'll be able to travel to different countries even. Oh my goodness. I live like 90 minutes away from a country that I can't even visit right now, which is ridiculous. But on top of that, like I said at the top of this live stream, my life is also changing around this time. We're ramping up, getting ready for just another crunch at work, so I think it's going to take a lot of time. Ramping up, I will also be going back to classes pretty soon, and it seems like, guys, getting a master's degree in electrical engineering is hard. It's hard as nails. Oh my god, it is so difficult. So I think that's going to be taking up a lot of my time as well. And I've been doing this live stream thing for 99 episodes. Can you guys believe that I've done this 99 times? Oh my goodness. So thank you guys so much for coming along this journey with me over the entire summer. But stake in the ground, I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue this any longer. So I think this is going to be the last lunch live stream for the summer of 2020. It was a fun ride, guys. I really appreciate it. Ate a lot of ridiculous foods, talked about a lot of ridiculous things. I don't know if I'm going to do other live streams like as a one-off thing in the future, but it seems like live streaming in general is kind of like the cool new thing to do on YouTube, or at least it was for a while. But yeah, back to the regular scheduled content. Yeah, we're going to see how things shake out. So I hope that everybody out there is staying safe, staying healthy. I hope that you guys are surviving in this ridiculous, crazy, crazy time. I hope that some of these live streams you found enjoyable. Hopefully some of you guys found something interesting. I really loved talking with you guys, doing like the Q&A back and forth. Just every single topic under the sun, basically. So until next time, I hope you guys have a good one. Peace out. You guys take it easy. Eat some Biscoff ice cream because it's absolutely delicious. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.